What up, dogs? Welcome back to another GGE, a Games, Goals, and Expectations video. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the next light weapon. It's going to be the Arbalest. So this is going to be the energy railgun, the light version, obviously. It's actually still a pretty decent sniper weapon, I would say, at least in the lower leagues, and I've definitely seen quite a few people use it in Sage Retro to great avail. It's just really fun to use. I guess you definitely have to be skilled at using it, though, like, because you do have to charge it just like the trebuchet. It's basically what it is. Essentially, is just a light version of the trebuchet, and then of course the medium version is the ballista. Now you have 1100 meters range on this thing, so that's definitely what makes it still a decent sniper, because you can basically be at max range and still be able to hit somebody. Of course, now it doesn't. I wouldn't say it has the best damage in terms of sniping anymore in the game, but the range and just patience makes up for that a little bit better. All right, so this isn't a very long list this time around, but just some crucial bots I think would be, just make it that much better. Or be fun to try to use it on. Now it is a weapon that costs silver, if you noticed. So luckily you won't be investing a whole heck of a lot of resources, or gold in order to buy it and whatnot. And it's only 1,000,000 silver, which if you're just starting the game, that might sound like a lot, but to be honest, 1,000,000 silver is really nothing at this point. All right, so let me wrong button. Go ahead and start running the list on these. All right, so the first one I would say is probably going to be the first thing I would think about running it on is going to be the patent. So you have the four light slots that are on a patent, and the patent is one of those robots that I say pretty much every time I talk about it, I mention how it's so slow, and then you can really only make use of it with ranged weapons, kind of. So with a weapon like the Arbalest, you can set back at literally 1,100 meters in order to hit somebody. I would probably say 800 meters is probably a decent range, but you do have the extra 300 if you need it. So, like I said, a weapon like the Arbalest that you don't need to be close up on somebody would be your best bet, or would be something better to use on a patent rather than something that you're going to be up close and personal with. Plus, like I said, 4 light slots, it's nothing to sneeze at. If you really get hit by 4 Mark III Arbalests that are possibly damage boosted and however, then probably wouldn't be too pleasant, depending on like what you got hit by, or like if you have any sort of defense or anything like that. All right, next I'm going to mention I would say the bolt, simply because you can kind of like dash. So like if you're sniping with it, just because you want to, you can like snipe and then immediately dash if someone's trying to counter snipe you. So that would be a decent idea, other than the fact you don't have a whole lot of defense. So you would definitely try to put more defense on that to make it even better, because you definitely would not want to get hit in the bolts by somebody else's sniper, like a Reaper, for example. Next is going to be another old school bot that would definitely be best used at range, because it's so weak in today's game. It's going to be the Vityus. So if you have that you're using on a Vityus and you want a full railgun, energy railgun build, then you're going to have a trebuchet and then 2 Arbalests on it, which could do pretty decent amount of damage, especially if you're in something, like I said, like Sage Retro tournaments, or any just custom games where you're just messing around with other people and not actually playing the live server. All right, next is going to be now I had kind of put it on the list before, but now that I'm actually thinking about it just a little bit further, it makes even more sense now. But the Galahad. So the Galahad has 2 light slots and then a medium. So If you were trying to run a sniper build on it, then it'd have two arbalests, um, and then a ballista. Now, the reason I originally didn't want to say this because it is such a weak bot, so it getting sniped wouldn't be all, being counter sniper may not be all that great, but it does have a physical shield, so you would be able to utilize that physical shield at least until it broke. So that's the only reason why I would say that. Now, I wouldn't say that it'd definitely be great in the very high league, like definitely I would say Diamond League and lower for sure, absolutely, Diamond League and lower, if even that. Now, of course, one of the oldest sniper builds in the sniper robots in the game is going to be the Natasha. So, two Arbalest. I mean, you can pretty much assume what I'm trying to say every time I mention a robot. But two Arbalest and then two trebuchets on top of that. Especially at max damage, and if you were to be patient and time your shots perfectly, then that would be great. Especially if you had something like quantum radar or so, and you had like an Amugi flying in from a distance and whatnot, you could just pop a couple shots into that, and they would be down for the count. Next, of course, is another classic snipe bot that can be used as a sniper. Is going to be the Leo. So, of course, you would have a slightly difference in firepower, being that you have 3 light slots and only 1 heavy, but the idea is essentially the same. Now the Leo, I would say the Leo probably has a little bit more capability and survivability, only because it has a heck of a lot more, a little bit, a decent chunk more health. So, but if you're going to be running a sniper build, do you want to prioritize, health, or do you want to prioritize firepower? So that's could be the difference between you picking between the Natasha and Leo, or that could be the difference between you boosting the damage on either one. Like going for damage skills as opposed to increasing the health a whole lot, because you would typically be at a range where you're sniping somebody and that you don't want to be sniped back, so you would have to be cautious of that. Next, I will go ahead and mention the hover, only for the reason that because of the hover's ability, you shoot straight up in the air and you're hovering for whatever, you would be able to possibly get angles on some people that you may not be able to get from certain other robots, like for instance something that cannot actually lift off the ground at all. Another thing I could technically have said about the Leo or the Natasha is, if for whatever reason you wanted to, you could possibly put a jump jet on them so that you could jump up and then snipe somebody and then immediately fall back to the ground, possibly behind cover, or possibly just because you could get a better angle up in the air. But yes, for the hover, I would definitely say, I don't even, does this have an active module? Yes, it does. Alright, so just, for that reason and that reason alone. Now, of course, you would definitely want to be careful with the hover because it is sort of a squishy bot in my, even maxed out, I don't think it'd probably be all that powerful. But, just, running 2 ballistas and then 1 arbalest on that to be able to, occasionally pop out and snipe somebody with a decent amount of firepower, it could be pretty fun. Now, one I've definitely seen people for sure. Hold on, let me see. Oh, I can remind. For the same purpose, and another robot that would definitely benefit, being at as far range as possible, is, I'm going to say, the Alkene. So you have 4 light slots, therefore you could run 4 arbalests. And then the built-in ability technically only goes to 600 meters. But like I said, with a robot like the Alkene, as squishy it is, you'd probably be, your best bet would probably be to be at 600 meters, and then possibly only really utilize your built-in robot, built-in weapon if somebody just happens to get too close or within 600 meters. Next, I was about to mention something that I've absolutely seen some people use in Sage tournaments, or retro tournaments, is the Griffin. So equipping that with 2 arbalests and then 2 ballistas is no laughing matter, because it's really annoying they get sniped at that from 1100 meters or 800 meters or however you may. My point being is they basically have the entire map they can shoot you across, and it's not fun. um, so as well as it performs in Sage Retro, I'm not saying that it would be a bot that would be a great sniper up in like Champions League and live server, but to max it out in a especially if you're playing possibly around Diamond League or possibly even edging into Expert League, then I can imagine that would be pretty annoying to get sniped by, just constantly. Or, every so often it would jump up and just shoot you in the face from so far away that you can't even defend yourself. Yeah. All right. Next is going to be that I technically did put on the list because, like I said, this isn't really a very long list compared to some of the other video ones I have talked about. The Strider, for the same reason that I mentioned, the Bolt. It has the ability to dash, but it also has a heavy weapon on top instead of another light weapon, so you'd have that much more firepower. And if you wanted to, for whatever, use it as a basically a mobile sniper because you're sniping and then dashing every so often to not get sniped yourself. All right, and then the next one for the exact same reason as using it on a Griffin, I've definitely also seen people using a Raven to make these old school, somewhat old school, energy railguns come to life. Uh, you have even more. You have a little bit extra maneuverability with the Raven, with that extra jump and whatnot. So you could uh, theoretically jump across like half. You could not only could you shoot somebody from all the way across the map, but you could theoretically jump across the entire map if somebody is like in a position where you can't shoot them. Um, just theoretically. But yeah, being in a position where you don't have any cover, and then that thing is about to aiming at you is just really really annoying. But it's also, I imagine, it's also very fun to run, in and of itself. All right, next is going to be where is it? Hold on, what? I actually put this on the list. Oh yeah, I remember why I put this on the list now. Okay, so the reason why I put this on the list is for a couple different reasons. If I can find the damn thing. Here it is. All right, the Mercury. Okay, so a couple of different reasons why I would actually put this on the list, and it's not a bot that you would typically expect to be a sniper, but there's a couple of different reasons why I think it could be a decent sniper. So, you have like just like the couple of bots, you have two lights and a heavy, so two arbalests and then a trebuchet on that. And you could use that at about 1100, 1000, 1100 meters in order to snipe. Um, and then because of its ability, uh, you can do one of two things with that ability. You could either try to avoid being sniped yourself. Well, actually, probably maybe like three things with that ability. Okay, so you could use it to jump up and shoot somebody that may not be at the best angle for you to stay on the ground and shoot them. B, you jump up to avoid getting shot yourself at long range, hoping they don't have like quantum radar or something. And then three would be that if for whatever reason they were able to actually get close to you, you would be able to drop on their heads. Now, by the time they got to you, they probably have already taken a decent amount of damage, so you could possibly manage to get the kill with the ability. But basically, it would just be like a close range, basically a close range defense. But the likelihood is that they wouldn't run try to get you, but basically just in case. So I think that that's a couple of different reasons why I think that would be such a cool build to try to run, simply because not many people would expect it, which is all what I'm about. I love people who think outside the box when it comes to running things that are unconventional. Now, the next one is also a very interesting one that I put in the list, I believe. Um, so it's going to be the Mender. So the reason why I put this on the list is because it doesn't have that much firepower. Only two light slots and a medium slot, so you wouldn't offer that much firepower per shot. But in terms of survivability, if you were to try to make if you try to make it as tanky as possible, then you would definitely be a sniper that survived as long as, even if you were getting sniped back yourself, you could still counter heal. Especially if you had like Marie Leclerc on there for whatever reason, then you could be able to do that. To try to make it, you definitely be able to last long enough. And if for whatever reason, like if someone else is sniping or whatever, or if you just happen to be close to your teammates, then you could also offer some healing as a unintended consequence of trying to run a build like that. Now, one that people probably think of a lot, actually, or a decent amount, would be, I don't know if I've seen this actually, but I would definitely understand if somebody would run it. Anyway, I would definitely run it myself. Would be the tier. So that has quite a bit more firepower, or at least a decent amount. To also be a healing bot, so it has two mediums and two lights. So two Arbalest and two Ballistas worth. So another reason why I think this would really work really well, you have that healing and whatnot, and you have that physical shield, so that definitely helps if you're being counter sniped. Hopefully you don't get like hit by rockets or whatever, because that will go right through your physical shield. But you have that physical shield, and then you're also with railguns and stuff. You're usually waiting for, or at least the energy railguns. You're usually waiting for your charges, your shots to completely charge up. So when it comes to that, you don't necessarily need to have them all equipped for them to be charging. So if you want to heal while you only have your medium weapons equipped, and when you're in that ability, then that would work out fairly decently, I believe. Now, I'm not saying it would be all that great. I would definitely say maybe like Diamond, or possibly edging into Expert League. But in terms of fun factor, I think it'd probably be pretty decent and something I would look forward to running myself in the future. Um, Now, next one, which would probably be pretty good, I believe, which would have a pretty decent amount of firepower, actually, would be the Siren. So, Siren has two heavies and one light, therefore, you could run two trebuchets and then one arbalest. Now, you're able to go up into your ability in order to do this. Also, you shoot your ice storm and whatnot. So having an ability like that, and probably you have that reflector, so not 100% of damage is going to be is actually going to land on your bot, and then even if you were to even make it even more tanky, so that you know uh, you can take more damage, then that would be awesome. And it's kind of like most people when they use something like a siren or a harpy or hogger like that, you're just going to be trying to do weapons that have like high DPS in order to do that. But in this case, I think one thing that would make it even better is that with the uh, trebuchets and whatnot, you are waiting for a shot to charge. Therefore, when it's done charging, you can go up into your ability, fire off, uh, you know, your shot that would probably do a decent amount of damage with how much firepower is actually on the bot, and then immediately go right back to the ground. That way you aren't taking too much damage because people don't have the opportunity to shoot you anyway. So if you want to, let's say we were somewhere like on maybe canyon or whatever, and you were standing behind like a rock formation, then nobody would be able to shoot you, if you're behind cover. Next is going to be the, where is it? Next is going to be the, where is it? All right, next is going to be the Hades. So, with this, you're definitely going to have light, 2 light slots and heavy, so pretty decent amount of firepower. Not a whole heck of a lot, but decent. And then you also have that built-in weapon. So the built-in weapon, retribution, and then of course your absorber shield. It only goes to 500 meters, so you would definitely want to be very careful. This would definitely be a bot that you would want to, probably at medium range to get the best capability. But with the way it works, I think you could probably maybe get away with not even getting to 500 meters, or not on purpose. So you would stay back at probably like 1,000 meters to try to snipe people with, and then if they happen to get within 500 meters, you could turn that absorber shield on, or you could turn on the absorber shield for the purpose of not getting sniped back. So you could snipe somebody, and then they wouldn't be able to counter snipe you because you immediately turn on that thing. You immediately turn on your absorber shield so that they basically just hit right into your shield. And if somebody happens to be close to you, that means that not only did they not manage to counter snipe you, but they were able to boost your damage. Therefore, you're doing more damage to whoever happens to possibly be within 500 meters. So basically, it's basically like indirect friendly fire. Basically, you're doing more, kind of like when you attack a leech that's attached to your ally. All right. Next is going to be one that I would be even more exciting to run than that. Would be the Ares. So, Ares is such an awesome bot, and I kind of believe that especially based on the visuals, that the built-in weapon for an Ares is seems like it's plasma based anyway. In the specific kind of plasma, seems very similar to the energy railguns or the plasma railguns or however you refer to them. So I just think they kind of match because like the Arbalest is blue, so when you shoot them, it's very similar to the built-in weapon for an Ares. So that's kind of very fun. So you would probably be at 500 meters. You would have to be, kind of the same reason for the thing. But to me, I think it'd probably be better because you're able to make a little bit better use out of the absorber shield in retribution for Ares because unless someone's able to get like within the shield or whatever, there's a lot more chance that if someone tries to shoot you, you can turn that shield on and absorb it quicker than possibly in Ares. And even then, when you do have the ability, and then your built-in weapons fold out, you'll have a heck of a lot more firepower, comparatively, than you do on the Hades, even at max power. Now, well, technically the cannon from the Hades isn't too bad, but I wouldn't say it's as good as using the Ares. So yeah, being able to, charge, especially if you want to, like charge up your shot, and your built-in weapon at the same time, and then unleash a heck of a lot of firepower all at once. Just absolutely go ham on somebody, and if they even manage to survive, that would just hurt. They would hurt in their soul. Like they would feel it absolutely in their soul. All right, and then the next one is going to be the Hawk, for the exact same reason as I mentioned the Siren. So because this actually has just the tiniest bit more firepower, plus the built-in laser weapon, the transform laser, whatever. So that's that much more firepower that you're shooting from that high up. So that would make it even better. Plus, you do have that reflector shield, so you're really, really not taking a whole lot of damage when you're up in that state. And you're also able to snipe somebody. Imagine how irritating that would be to the enemy team if you just, constantly using that tactic. And then next, there's just a few more that are on this list. Now, I'm going to mention another one real quick. Where is it actually? Okay. The shell. I'm only going to mention this pretty much for the same purpose as, I did technically put it on the list, but basically for the same purpose as using, making a sniper build out of the Mercury. this would actually have a built-in kind of close range defense. If they were get too close, you could literally just explode on them. And you do have those. You do have the built-in physical shields of a shell, so you would have significantly more survivability as a sniper build, even though it is unconventional because you do have those physical shields, and anyone trying to counter snipe you would be at a disadvantage compared to whatever it is that they're running. Alright, next. Alright, just like 3 more left. Now this one would be to me I think would be a really great sniper is the Kepri. So running 4 Arbalests on this, maxed out and all that, say you're make it tanky if you want, boost damage and whatnot, as many pilots as you want in order to do that. And then on top of that, you can heal your allies. I think within 500 meters, is it? No, 400 meters. Still 400 meters. I just think that would be like really great as a sniper. It'd probably be best for maps that you definitely have the ability to absolutely sit up on like a perch and whatnot, which would probably be something like the hill on Power Plant or Yamantau or Canyon or just something like that, where you definitely have somewhere where you can just kind of sit up top and kind of shoot. And because of the decent, because of the actual mobility of the Kepri, you wouldn't really have to worry about getting being too slow. You'd be able to get back in behind cover and probably recharge your shot fairly easily. All right, next is going to be what for the same purpose, basically, almost. Where is it? Nether. So this is another dashing bot that would make great. It does have 4 light slots, so maximum light slottage right there. Until something like the Dagon comes out or whatever. But you'd be able to dash, and then you do have that physical shield. So or not the physical shield, but you do have the force field. Now, unfortunately, this thing has been nerfed, but because of that force field, the only way that somebody would be able to counter this as a sniper, if they had something like bendy bullets or whatever, like from the Cremolas and whatnot, in order to actually do consistent damage on the force shield, because people who use it and people who know anything about the Nether know that you have to be able to do consistent damage in order to take down that force field in order to actually get to the bot that's underneath. But if someone's trying to counter snipe you, then the most they might be able to do is just to shoot a big shot at you, and then it just your force field absolutely eats that shot, and you are not really taking any damage, especially if you're dashing in and out. The likelihood that they'll be able to attack you, like the only situation I think they would be able to really take you down, the counter snipe you, is if they somehow lock you down and just like a bunch of people shoot you over and over. That would be like the only way. But I think it is a tier 4 bot, so you would think, even though no one really does it and it is an unconventional idea, you would think that a bot like the Nether would make an excellent sniper. And then the next one is going to be a bot that I do mention on occasion, simply because mostly for nostalgia purpose, but in this particular case I think would actually work really well, if I can find it. Anything, for whatever reason I always have trouble finding it. The Golem. So with the Golem, you're going to you can run a light, medium, and heavy, one each hard point. So you can run an Arbalest, a Ballista, and a Trebuchet on this, and that would actually work out really well if you're at least at 1100 meters, because you're just trying to snipe, and then definitely try to take as much cover as possible, especially if you're on a spot like Yamantau or whatever. yeah, so being now, I think maybe the only thing that could be an issue is if someone was running like Zeniths or whatever just to be a butthead. Uh, but other than that, this would actually be one of the few builds on a golem that would actually work decently, or at least into the middle leagues, probably diamond at best if I'm uh, being honest. But it would just be incredibly fun and almost kind of like an old school build, somewhat, only because the golem is very old and the trebuchet has been in the game for a very long time. Um, and then the Arbalest and Ballista are just basically the medium and light versions of that. But yeah, those are the bots that I think would be uh, best to try to use a sniper weapon like the Arbalest on, and that I will actually be looking forward to doing in the future. So that's gonna wrap up this list and wrap up this video. Underdog. Oh!